Now it came to pass, when men began to multiply on the face of the earth, and daughters were born to them, that the sons of God saw the daughters of men, that they were beautiful, and they took wives for themselves of all whom they chose. And the Lord said,
My spirit shall not strive with man forever, for he is indeed flesh. Yet his days shall be 120 years.
There were giants on the earth in those days, and also afterward, when the sons of God came in to the daughters of men, and they bore children to them. Those were the mighty men who were of old, men of renown.
Hello everyone, I just wanted to provide my knowledge that you hopefully come to understand about the giants that walked this earth before and after the flood. Not to get misconstrued, but you must understand and acknowledge the fact that what caused the creation of giants was the descendants of fallen angels who saw the women were fair as described in the Bible. In Genesis specifically. And inevitably, this led to the birth of Nephilim giants and soon the corruption of civilization. There is evidence of giants scattered throughout the world through petrification. If you look at these sculpted figures throughout the different areas of the world, you begin to identify certain traits which thus were of the ancient civilization. The ancient civilization that walked alongside the human race. Even if you don't believe in what I'm telling you, do you ever wonder if artists that have created conceptual sculpted figures around various parts of the world were perhaps inspired by something beyond our comprehension of maybe what's being covered up? Think for a second and realize that our normal is in fact just a created reality for us to be strayed from the truth further each day. But that's just my thoughts on the Nephilim giants. What do you think? Are we being denied the actual history of the world where giants roam?
We must remark upon the outstanding work of William R. Corliss and his collecting of remarkable tales of ancient giants, but what's more, his general conclusive consensus, and in which, due to our own research, we also share. For example, he mentions on page 102 of his sourcebook, Strange Artifacts, that, quote, "The ancient people of most countries seem to have possessed in the strongest degree a faith of giantology," end quote. a feeling we also share, having validated our suspicions. He goes on to mention a tale of the astonishing size of the statues, said to have represented the beings who once dwelled within the true ancient Egypt. Quote, "In front of the portals of the palace of Karnak are gigantic human statues, and in one of the courts are 12 immense stone figures, each 52 feet high. The adjacent palace of Luxor has 2 granite statues 38 feet high at the entrance. In the ruins near Thebes are 3 huge figures, now thrown down, one being 64 feet high, and in the palace of Parthenon of Athens, many years before Christ, was a statue of Minerva, 36 feet high."
Today I want to talk about giants on the North American continent. It's kind of a controversial subject, but there does exist a lot of evidence, even though for whatever reason it has been systematically covered up by academia. It was the late 1800s and the early 1900s. There were many excavations done, as well as incidental finds when farmers were filling up their fields or hunters were exploring the woods, hunting. The sensationalism of some finds may have sparked some frauds or some hoaxes, but there are hundreds of newspaper articles and photographs of these giants.
In 1519, the Portuguese naval officer and explorer Ferdinand Magellan led a Spanish expedition to find a western route to the East Indies and reach the Moluccas or Spice Islands in present-day Indonesia. The fleet of some 270 men in 5 ships left Spain on the 20th of September 1519, sailed across the Atlantic and sighted the strait that now bears his name, allowing him to pass through the southern tip of South America into the Pacific Ocean, which he named. The fleet performed the first ever crossing of the Pacific, stopping in what is today called the Philippines, and eventually reaching the Moluccas, accomplishing its goal. A much depleted crew finally returned to Spain on the 6th of September 1522. Magellan died in battle in the Philippine Islands on the 27th of April 1521. The following is a series of extracts from the translated journals of Antonio Pigafetta. The extracts describe the many weeks of interactions between Magellan, the crew, and 11 to 12 foot tall giants.
If you look at what they're trying to tell people in this clip, you begin to realize that we've subconsciously watched films such as these with hidden meaning, and what what we think may have been the truth is not. And because you begin to realize that the truth is indeed stranger than fiction, giants have been around since the beginning of time. However, they were covered up. Why do I say this? Look into the book of Enoch and study the Nephilim, and also the book of giants. The truth is there, but you must learn to intercept the knowledge that is provided in front of you. One day I do believe the people will, know the truth of giants, and when they find out about the true history of the world, it will be a sight to behold, because then again, many people won't be able to handle the truth of knowing that terrifying, cannibalistic, 9 to 12 foot giants were venturing around in uncharted territory within the exact same world we live in today. So hopefully you acknowledge and understand that these clips, provide insight into giants, which is far from what is known as truth hidden in plain sight. Now take this concept into mind and apply it to every piece of film you've watched and has been associated with giants. So think about it and realize that we are not alone, and they were indeed here with us on this earth before the flood and will be after the flood.
You smell that, brothers? Don't you love it when their blood curdles?
The Creator formed us on the second day, the day He made the heavens. We watched over Adam and Eve, saw their frailty and their love, and then we saw their fall, and we pitied them. We were not stoned then, but light. It was not our place to interfere, yet we chose to try and help mankind. And when we disobeyed the Creator, He punished us. We were encrusted by your world. Rock and mud shackled our fiery glow. Still we taught mankind all we knew of creation. With our help, they rose from the dust, became great and mighty. But then they turned our gifts to violence. Only one man protected us, your grandfather Methuselah. We were hunted, most of us killed. Those who lived were left prisoners in these stony shells, marooned upon this barren land. We begged the Creator to take us home, but He was always silent.
But as the days of Noe were, so shall also the coming of the Son of Man be. For as in the days that were before the flood, they were eating and drinking, marrying and giving in marriage, until the day that Noe entered into the ark, and knew not until the flood came, and took them all away, so shall also the coming of the Son of Man be.
So overcoming giants is a huge biblical theme.
And it returns in the end times. It returns in, for instance, we are talking about Joel's army. That is not an earthly army, because it uses again the terminology mighty men. And see, people try and spiritualize that we'll rise up. That's not what it's talking about.
Yeah.
It's not talking about us. People don't understand that the end times and giants are inseparable.
Looking at this concept for holographic giant images, is it perhaps time for the rulers within the shadows to unveil what civilization has been hidden from? That's right, the giants of old. If you remember the passage in the Bible where it states that in the end times it will be like the days of Noah, in Matthew 24 to be specific, what happened during the days of Noah? Noah was asked by God to construct an ark, which was basically the initialization towards the foreshadowing of events leading up to the flood. Now during the flood there were giants roaming the earth, and after there were as well. Where's the proof? It's in front of you. Thinking, think about it.
And superheroes.
All things hidden will be revealed during these times of revelations, within the days of Noah. Giants before the flood, and now being showcased to humanity, the truth of what our world's history truly is and will always be
transforms into an
until the end of time.
person. From sports